Let me start by saying this. Words don't vanish when the bell rings or the meeting ends. They don't dissolve when the laughter fades or when you finally fall asleep. The worst ones, the careless ones, the ones tossed like crumbs to a crowd, stick to your ribs and travel with you into job interviews, into friendships, into the dark places where you doubt yourself most. I used to think I'd shake off what people said about me, that I could outgrow a sentence. Like you, outgrow last year's shoes. But here's what I learned the hard way. Sometimes the things meant to break you become the exact bricks you need to build your future. My name is Nora. This is the story of how a teacher took a red pen to my dreams in front of an entire class, and how I spent years proving to myself that she didn't get the final draft. If you're listening because someone told you what you are and what you're not, I hope my mess turns into your map. And before we dive in, hit like, subscribe, and click the bell. Not because it helps the channel, though it does, but because I want you to hear how this ends. You'll understand why later. Good morning, Mrs. Blake. Here's the essay. 3,000 words as you asked.
3,000? Ambitious for someone with a, let's call it, creative relationship to grammar.
She said it without looking up, like my essay was a fly in her soup, and I was the one who served it. Mrs. Blake had this talent for turning a comment into a performance. You could feel 30 pairs of eyes swing to you like stage lights.
Class, our dreamer has delivered another manifesto. Who can remind us what we say about dreams?
Wake up. Set an alarm first.
Nora, dear, writing isn't about feelings. It's about structure. It's about economy. It's about not wasting the reader's time with fantasies.
Fantasies. Like the word itself was guilty. Like sentences only belong to spreadsheets and weather reports. I felt my throat tighten. That hot behind the eyes panic, where you want to run and also never move again.
Let this be a lesson. Not everyone is meant for the spotlight, and that's okay. We need secretaries, we need list makers. The world requires grocery lists.
The laugh wasn't even loud. That's what made it worse. It was easy, casual. It told me this wasn't a one-time slip. This was a belief they'd all signed off on. I took my seat and pretended the page in front of me wasn't shaking because my hands were.
Hey, you okay?
Do I look okay?
You look like someone who cares about a person who never earned that power. She's bitter, Nora. She grades, you create.
What if she's right? What if I'm only good at writing when no one reads it?
Then we find your readers. Write for me first. Then write for 10 people. Then 100. She doesn't get to be the last voice you hear.
He made it sound so simple, like it was a staircase instead of a cliff. That night, I took out my notebook, the same one I almost threw away, and I didn't write to please her. I wrote to survive me.
Nora Alvarez.
I crossed the stage with Mrs. Blake's eyes on me. You know that feeling when someone's rooting against you so quietly you can almost hear it? After the ceremony, I heard her voice, a whisper meant to carry.
She won't last a year in college. Mark my words.
I marked them, not to replay them, but to repay them. I told myself, 1 year, then 2, then however many it takes. College was a patchwork of shifts and naps, morning, cafe, afternoons, lectures if I could afford the bus, notes if I couldn't, evenings, library desk, weekends, babysitting for a family that paid in cash and leftovers. I wrote on bus tickets, on the backs of receipts, in the margins of textbooks I couldn't afford, but borrowed anyway. Rejection letters became wallpaper. Some kind, most cold. Not for us. Good voice, no market. We regret, that phrase, we regret always made me laugh. No, you don't. Not like I do. When I couldn't sleep, I'd picture that classroom and hear the chorus again. Wake up, set an alarm, grocery lists. And I'd push the pen harder, make the sentences sharper, not to be spiteful, to be undeniable.
How many no's this week?
14, but 2 were personalized.
That's progress. Personalized no is just a not yet in a different jacket.
Sometimes hope needs someone else's voice to sound real. Daniel's became the bridge I walked across every time I looked down.
You've got something here, Nora. Raw, authentic. I can get this in front of real editors, fast. My consultation fee is modest. Think of it as investing in yourself.
How modest.
$2,000. Half now, half, when I hand deliver your manuscript.
2,000 was a mountain. But the way he said hand deliver cracked something open in me. The part that wanted a shortcut, any shortcut, to stop feeling like a joke. I paid him. Weeks turned into months. His emails got shorter. Then they stopped. I learned 2 lessons. Don't pay people to love your work. And sometimes the no you need to hear is the one you say to the wrong yes.
We'd love to publish your short story Ecstatic. Payment is a contributor copy, but we hope you'll accept.
I cried over a stapled booklet like it was a trophy. Then the high faded. A classmate commented, "Cute." A zine. Another said, "Doesn't count if it doesn't pay." It's funny how success can shrink when you hold it next to someone else's ruler. I stopped doing that. I taped the little magazine to my wall. It became my first yes that didn't apologize for itself. The email came on a Tuesday night from an editor named Maya Chen at a small, stubborn press that loved voices more than trends.
Your story Ecstatic found me at the right time. If you have a longer work, I'd like to see it. If you don't, perhaps you're writing one already.
Am I writing one already? The question felt like a dare and a hug. I took every fragment I'd scribbled in margins, every character I'd left mid-sentence, and I built them a world. I wrote on my lunch breaks, on broom closets' floors, on buses so crowded my elbows wrote for me. Every time I wanted to quit, Mrs. Blake's voice would float back. "We need grocery lists." I'd answer out loud sometimes and make customers stare. "We also need novels."
Eat.
After this page,
You said that last page.
then I mean it twice as much. When I hit send, my hands shook so hard I had to sit on them. That's how you know you care enough to be embarrassed.
This chapter sings, this one stumbles. Why does your protagonist lie here? What wound does that lie cover? Also, can you cut 30 pages?
30.
Kill the parts you love that don't love the book back. You're not shrinking it. You're sharpening it.
We revised until my calendar looked like a battlefield. I learned that editing isn't erasing yourself. It's choosing which version of you deserves the microphone. Somewhere in draft 7, the book stopped being mine alone. It became what it wanted to be. 7 came. 3 were Daniel and his cousins. 1 was a stranger who cried at a scene I almost cut. I signed 2 copies. I went home, microwaved leftovers, and told myself this is still a dream. Then, a week later, a high school teacher messaged me a photo. 20 students holding my book. A book talk video went mildly viral. This novel feels like someone finally listened to me. Sales jumped. Not a rocket, but a steady lift. I started to sleep with my phone face down so I wouldn't count every number like a heartbeat.
We'd be honored if you came to speak to our seniors next month. Your success will inspire them.
My stomach dropped when I saw the sender line, my old school. The image of those fluorescent lights and that red pen flashed like an old bruise. I said yes anyway. Retelling your story at the scene of the crime is a kind of healing you can't order online. Thank you for having me. I'm not here to tell you hard work guarantees anything. It doesn't. but I am here to tell you that someone's worst sentence about you doesn't get to be your last. Row 3, aisle 2, there she was. Mrs. Blake, older, same posture, same pursed mouth.
Nora, my star student. I always knew you had promise.
That's not how I remember it.
Oh, I was tough because the world is, you understand. It built you, didn't it?
I built me, in spite of you, but thank you for showing me how it feels to have your voice dismissed. I'll spend the rest of my career making sure I don't do that to anyone. I signed a copy for her anyway. Not out of pettiness, out of punctuation. Some chapters don't need revenge, they need a period.
Overnight success, right?
Try over years. I failed so often I could teach a class on it. The second book was harder. Expectations are loud. Drafts were stubborn. A bigger publisher dangled a deal that wanted a safer version of me. I said no to money I could count, and yes to a voice I can live with. That'll never trend on LinkedIn, but it's the only reason I'm still excited to open a blank page.
Dear Nora, my teacher told me my poems were too much. Yours made me believe too much is exactly enough.
Your chapter about saying the hard thing to your kid helped me say it. We're better now.
I keep the letters in a shoebox. When a review stings or a draft won't sing, I open it. Not to feel important, to feel responsible. Words travel. I want mine to arrive with a blanket, not a bruise. Okay, everyone read the last paragraph they cut. Tell us why it deserved to go.
Because it made me look smart, not my story.
Exactly. The reader doesn't care if you look smart, they care if you see them. I run free workshops once a month. No resumes, no gatekeeping, no red pen theater. Sometimes I see a younger version of me, lip chewing, waiting for permission. I tell them no one's going to hand you a key. You become the door. If you're still here, maybe someone said the kind of thing to you that Mrs. Blake said to me. Maybe they wore a suit and did it in a meeting. Maybe they wore love and did it at your kitchen table. Either way, here's what I know now. You decide who narrates you. Mrs. Blake didn't write my ending. She edited my beginning. Daniel didn't save me. He stood on the other side of a bridge and said, "Come on, I'll wait." Maya didn't crown me. She handed me a mirror and said, "Look, you're already holding the pen. So if today hurts, if your inbox is a graveyard, if your family thinks your dream is a hobby, be stubborn. Tape the tiny wins to your wall. Say no to the wrong yes. Say yes to the draft that scares you. And when you finally get to sign your name on something that felt impossible, remember the kids still sitting under fluorescent lights, being told to be less. Write them a pat. If this helped you, like and subscribe, so the algorithm hands the story to the next person who needs it. And to whoever told you you're only good for grocery lists, I'll be here, cheering for your next chapter. I hope you cook a feast with what they threw at you.